G'day, it's Jack again. I know it's been a little while, but I thought I would do another little video for you. It's been almost a year. My wife has fallen pregnant, and which is great for us, and we're going to have a baby in about a month's time, so that's been taking up a lot of my time, basically doing housework and making sure she's happy and that sort of thing. But just thought that I'd show you a quick video of how the garden's going. I know a lot of you are interested in the pond, so I'll show you the pond first up. So this is basically the pond now, the way it's evolving. Sort of dug this up about 3 years ago now. You can see there's it's looking quite beautiful. Most of the things you can see around the edge of the pond there are edible, and there's a nice little habitat now for blue-tongued lizards and that sort of thing to enter the pond. Anyway, today I was just going to show you a little bit about organic weeding. A lot of people use Roundup and that sort of thing, and they don't know what to do when it comes to weeding. And if you really care about where your food comes from, like I do, you really want to make sure you're using organic weeding techniques to not only make your garden look better, but also to stop competition for your vegetables and that sort of thing. One particular vegetable that really doesn't like competition is garlic, and I'll just show you what I do with my garlic. Come this way. So basically this is a 9.5 kilo bottle. I've got a tradesman's torch that I light on the end, and you can see just in between the garlic there's lots of little competing things coming up. So what I like to do is just sort of go around with the flame, and just obviously don't burn the garlic, but garlic's actually quite strong compared to these little guys that are growing. It's usually little grass seedlings and that sort of thing, but as you know, once grass starts to grow, it gets pretty crazy and starts sucking all the moisture out of the ground. Yeah, so that's basically what I do around my garlic. There's a little row that I started earlier. It only sort of takes 15 or 20 minutes out of your day, and it's actually very, very meditative. So it's good to just sort of slow down your day and sit in nature and burn a few weeds. So that's one method of organic weeding. Yeah, so I started with $5 worth of organic garlic, and this year is only, I think, my 3rd year growing the garlic, and I've ended up with, I'll just show you now, I always keep a fair bit of garlic and replant it the next year, and you can just see all the garlic that I've put in there. It's not traditional permaculture style, but I haven't done the rows, so I've followed the contour of the land so that the water can still run down through the land nicely. Just here, once again, the contours. I've laid all my garlic along the contours there, so that the water runs through the channels. This year I've put in a few little grapevines. I plan on putting quite a few more in soon, which is another thing that's difficult to do with permaculture. Just over here I'll just show you, this is an empty bed, so what I've done is just mulch down. So I never like to have any ground left uncovered, because you want to keep the good bacteria and microorganisms in the soil, so it's good to mulch down any spare beds you have. This bed I actually grew broad beans in last year, and now I've just put in these lupins, they're called. So when these get a little bit taller, what I'll do is just dig them in, and it creates like a green manure. So that'll put nitrogen back into the soil for me for the next growing season. So I'll just show you one more organic weeding technique. Down the edge of my fence line here, I usually grow a lot of grass grows along here, but along here I've used just salt. Salt, you can see down here, I've just sprinkled salt along the fence line so that the grass can't grow along here. This is pool salt, so when you think, oh gee, salt's expensive, it's not really. I bought this for $7 for 20 kilos, and it's just normal salt that you'd put in your normal salt-based pool. I was just also going to show you the chicken area, because I don't think you've ever seen it. So yeah, just down here is all my chickens. They all sort of pretty much roam free down this whole entire back area, which I eventually want to turn into a maple forest, so where I can have my own maple syrup coming out of the trees, but that's about 20 years away. I've also had to fence off my apple trees in this area because the chickens get in there and they'll have to scratch up the apple trees. So these are sort of my naughty chickens over here. I lock them away sometimes because when I'm growing little seedlings like you saw earlier with the garlic and that sort of thing, otherwise I'd let them roam throughout the garden. But just all along here, I've just grown a whole stack of spinach and beetroot, Swiss chard. This sort of thing I can use in my own dinners, and also I can just obviously pick a few. I usually pick the sort of not so nice leaves that I wouldn't tend to eat, and I just feed those to these chickens who don't really get out much, so they can enjoy some nice fresh greens. And that's always just right next to the chicken coop for me. So instead of growing grass along here, I'm trying to grow basically food. So this is my little chicken tractor. I'm not sure if I've shown you before, but basically you know, you can move it around your garden, and the chickens will sort of mow down your grass as you go. So these two, I put two in there just so they've got a bit of company, and yeah, it works out very well. Over here I've put a new raised garden bed in, which is actually quite tall, so I can sort of I don't need to bend over or anything. I can just reach straight in and start manipulating the food that I've put in here. Just a little red rib chicory there left over. I grew all tomatoes in here, and the broccoli's sort of just going to seed now. But once again, I've put a lot of these little lupins in here, so I plan on digging those back into the soil, or just turning over the soil, and sort of let all that soak into the soil. I put some of my own chook poo in here as well, just while it's settling down. You can see all those lupins coming up through there, so I'll just turn all those over into the soil sort of in the middle of winter, and then that'll be ready for planting up my tomatoes around spring. So that's pretty much it for today. There isn't really much else to show you, but I hope this has been informative, and I'll definitely get onto another video really soon, and we'll learn some really cool stuff. Thanks very much. Take her easy.